Welcome everybody to ELO Hell GitGud Season 7 Advanced in North America. I'm Joe Razor, joined here by my good friend and color commentator for tonight's match, Hedwig. And our first match of tonight will be in between SuperNova and No Hacks Required.
Hello, everyone. I, for one, am definitely very interested to look forward, as this is, of course, our very first match of the week. I'm really excited to see what these teams have to offer us.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Very excited to, like you said, see what they have to offer and try to get a good grasp of how these teams are matching up. We could take a quick look at our schedule for this night. We have this first game, like I mentioned, SuperNova and No Hacks Required. Then after that, we will have Scuba Diva versus Fish. So 2 first to 3s for you tonight. And yeah, I'm very excited to get into our first matches of the season.
Yeah, I, for one, this is my first season casting GGNA, but I've always been a very, I guess you could say, excited onlooker watching from the stands. And now to be here casting for these teams who are looking to make it up in the world, I think that's a very exciting thing.
Yeah, for sure. As well as our schedule, we can also take a look at the rosters for our two teams for this first match. Like you can see, our DPS line for SuperNova, Nano, and Robe. Tank line, Potatoes, and Fire Zillion. And then our supports are Dauntless Teal and Rare Soccer. So yeah, that's a lineup. Might know a couple of those names from some of these other community tournaments. I, for one, do. And then No Hacks Required. Like SuperNova, you can see their roster on the screen. Grug, Bison, Rose Dog, Jeppy, and then to round everything out on the supports, Maximus and Ender. So those are going to be our rosters for our first match of the day.
And looking at these rosters, specifically what they play, on the side of SuperNova, you see that Nano and Robe follow a more standard, at least for what they at least put down as their preferred characters. They follow a more standard hit scan and flex, with Nano preferring the McCree and Tracer, with Robe preferring like the Hanzo Mei, which are four very strong characters, especially in this meta. On the other side, though, Grunge is a standard hit scan player. He plays McCree, but Bison actually put down a Doomfist as his most played hero, which is not something you really see a whole ton, especially not in current metas. But I'll be very interested to see if Bison can pull it out and really do a lot of work with it. For the rest, that's sort of the main difference between the two I'm seeing, as we will be heading into our first map, which is Lijiang.
Yeah, Lijiang Tower first map, excuse me. I think basically it's one of the only maps in the game where you really have three very distinct points with three very distinct metas. You have, of course, Night Market, where you have the Sim TP, right? Kind of the Winston or Ryan comps, depending on the team. And then you have Control Center, where you see the Junkrat, and then you finish it off on Gardens, which is more of your double bubble as a comp you see a lot. But now we are getting ready to hop in.
Exactly. I'm not at all shocked by the fact we saw Lijiang. Both teams seem to favor Lijiang, as we will be seeing that sim strat from at least No Hacks is showing it. SuperNova currently isn't showing it, although I'm not sure how long that Echo may stay around. Echo is a very strong hero in her own right. However, for utility, it kind of depends on what meta the enemy team is choosing to run. We are seeing Bison, though, on that Doomfist like I was talking about.
Yeah, he's starting off on the Doomfist. We don't see it a whole lot. Sparkle, I think, is kind of the only professional player that tends to run it here. They're going to be getting underway, though. Some TP straight to the point for both sides, where they will be commencing. So nice freeze up onto Rose Dog as they're going to try to collapse on him, but they're not going to be able to, due to the fact that we have this immortality field in the way. The other Reinhardt on the board, Fire Elizen, gets taken down, and now Pohong, kind of charged up, is ready to go in. He's going to push in, pick up a nice double kill here towards the tail end of this fight, and it's going to be No Hacks Required, gain our first cap here on Night Market.
See, the big problem I think there that you saw is that Grunge, I think that's Grunge. Grunge just got his sim being up so much faster than Nano did, and that allowed him to melt through the entirety of the enemy team. Well, on the other side, you saw Nano kind of struggle to build up that charge really quickly and efficiently.
Yeah, as they're to start off in the side room here, SimTP is going to be attempted to get past them. Oh, but Levins with an R gets taken out as he's unable to get through the TP, and actually that's a right click that takes down Dauntless Steel. Not able to get the Immortality Field to keep him or any of the rest of his team alive, and no hacks required. Looking good winning our first shoot fights.
I'm not really sure if that Simwell was all that necessary, but then again, it's not a super strong ultimate, so I'm not too mad about them using it. The main thing, Nano does swap off there, which I think is the right play. The sim is really only useful for those engagement into holding this point. Once you don't have point control, you really can't run her as well. Ooh, almost trapped the Doomfist and caught him out there, but he was able to get out.
Yeah, Bison able to get out alive, but Dauntless Steel, once again, I think it's the second fight in a row where he's been picked off early on due to this Ant Matrix this time, but then there's a sound barrier that comes out from Ender trying to keep his team alive, but he's not able to do so here, as SuperNova starting to push forward here as they take down every single player, no hacks required, just the sim on the point, and without really using a lot of ultimates, they'll be able to get a flip.
The big ultimate trade you see there is both teams end up using the Baptiste window, but it was grab for beat. I'd honestly argue that the grab is less impactful than the beat. The grab can build up a bit faster than that beat, especially when by the time the beat was used, almost 3 people were dead already through the grab, so it really didn't get nearly as much value as they might have wanted it to get.
Yeah, but speaking of Graviton Surge, we're going to see Jeppies get deployed and hit a couple of players there. Heining's committed as soon as the sound barrier was well, but Jeppies kind of off on the side there, so Robe is able to remove him. Shatter gets dropped, oh my! Firelizen picks up a good shatter there as SuperNova are going to continue to hold on to this objective.
An awesome wall from Nano there. Rose Dog, they were trying to charge in to get, I believe it was Firelizen and Lermans, but Nano managed to wall him right before the charge went off, which stopped any momentum he had and allowed Firelizen to get that really nice shatter off and secure that fight for them.
Yeah, it's just a really nice play there. Now they're going to start to re-engage with the sim while thrown down very early from Pong. Maywall kind of forces no hacks required to chill out for a second, wait for it to fall down. As now the Simwall's going to be fading, but that Sim TP is going to go up immediately after. Oh my word, what a like 180 from Bison. Gets a lot of damage on, but no kill as Rose Dog is caught out of position. Firelizen will remove him. And oh, nice boop off the edge there from Lermans before getting traded out, but it will not matter. No hacks required. Sent back to the spawn room, a very late Ant Matrix from Dauntless Steel.
The main problem I'm seeing with this composition, ooh, that Graviton, it didn't catch anyone, but it still got 2 kills. The main problem I'm seeing with no hacks composition is simply that Doomfist. Yes, Doomfist has a lot of pick potential, but when you're dealing with very strong constant damage like May Cree, there's not much Doomfist can really do.
Yeah, and there's not much no hacks required to be able to do here. Just trickling onto the point, looking for any scrap of hope. The Shatter to close it out. Only the Tracer left, but the Flashbang. Then the Headshot will end that there, and that's going to be SuperNova taking Night Market as they started around 81%, but they managed to turn it around.
I think the big thing we have to realize there is honestly mainly just a compositional difference. The composition that No Hacks was running was very, very good at taking an aggressive stance and getting that objective first, which you see them do. They capture point first. They have a lot of damage. They're able to melt. But once SuperNova's ultimates come online and they're more sustained damage from that Kree and Mei that you saw them swap to after Symmetro is no longer useful, it just outlasts a Doomfist. Doomfist is good for getting picks, but when you have Zarya bubbles and Maze and Kree stuns, there's nothing a Doomfist can really do, and that just makes it basically a 5v6. Here we see these more dive comps, not surprised at all. We are seeing a Ball Zarya from No Hacks Required, while a more standard Monkey Zarya from SuperNova, though. It'll be interesting to see how this works out.
Yeah, as Speaking of the ball, it gets a boop off the edge on the road before getting immediately traded out there. And now they're going to try to dive on top. Rig armor being applied to that Winston. Recall forced out from Pong very early on, but... And he does end up going down there. The other Tracer, though, Nano staying alive for now. Is facing a lot of pressure, though, as the point has unlocked. A good percentage ticked up there for SuperNova, as it's just no hacks required trying to find any kills, but they're being forced away from the point, kept away from finding anything. But as soon as I say that, Phoenix is collapsed on. The trade comes through, however, as now there's only a couple players remaining for no hacks required, as SuperNova will manage to get the cap.
That was a decent hold. The main thing I think we need to realize there is, yes, Ball did get a pick on Kree, which is good, don't get me wrong, but Ball is... That was a really nice shot. I think a little bit of luck went into that because it was a sonic arrow, but still, Ball is so important in this comp because Ball goes into the backline, causes disruption, and messes with supports. The second Ball goes down, even if McCree is dead, you don't have that real strong dive pressure, and the enemy team can just take so much more space. And that's what this team... And that's what SuperNova needs, is space.
Yeah, as the Tracer pick that did come through is respawn now, but he's facing a lot of pressure there, but Rosedog's the one to fall, and Pog is killed there soon after. Bison still commits his ultimate there, the Dragon Strike, but that means they will no longer have this Grav Dragon. Nano gets a trade out there. Once again, Bison with a nice headshot onto him, but it's going to be the reset.
I want Rosedog to swap off this ball. This is twice now. He's the first one to die on his team, and it's causing his team to lose. Yes, he's able to cause some disturbances in the backline, but he's just getting, like, triple stunned in a row. And don't get me wrong, that's not his fault. That's just part of the game mechanics, but he needs to realize that and realize, okay, ball's not working, swap off to a monkey. Even though he has his ult, how much is his ult really going to do against a dive comp?
Yeah, I feel like you just cast her first time. He's probably going to get a big minefield now, but the Grabshot Surge is the first ultimate committed, and it results in a 1-for-1 trade on both Tracers. Now there's going to be a Nano Boost applied. Rally soon committed. There's the mines that you were talking about. Orbit actually buys them a lot of space and a kill. Oh no! Fire Eliza actually jumped into the mines there mid-Primal Rage.
I think I cast her first then.
And I believe you did there, as SuperNova are being wiped out from the point here, so they may have hit 99%, but point will go over to no hacks required.
Alright, good for Rosedog. He got that off, and now they have point. This is what they want. Now that they have this point, they can take so much more space, and Ball can actually feel free to boot people off the bridge and cause disturbances without having to force his way into an entire team. At least that's what's supposed to happen, as you see him get triple stun locked and die.
Yeah, I mean, what a kill there. Taken down, and now he's going to find a second there as Bison was killed mid-high noon. SuperNova are just looking like the fundamentally better team here. No hacks required. Looking kind of out of luck here on our opening map. Nano Boost to help finish this out. SuperNova flip over at 99%. No hacks required. Ooh, the only player to really be able to touch there was Pong, and he ended up getting taken down there, so it's going to be SuperNova with our first map.
Yeah, main thing I see there is a bit better coordination from SuperNova. You saw them constantly being able to cycle those stuns on a very good level, as we see a play of the game from Robe. Oh, just look at this stun lock. This poor Ball. He had nothing he could do there. But that's like those... Yeah. But that's those ultimates I'm talking about, or not ultimates, those abilities I'm talking that they were doing a better job of cycling through that allowed them to get that victory, as well as I feel like a bit of a better composition overall.
Yeah, I do really think on that first point, I think first and second point was honestly slightly of a competitive. Second point a bit more than the first one, because the Doomfist pick on Night Market was it got some good value at the start, right? It was doing a lot of work, and it looked like they had a good idea of what they wanted to do, but SuperNova were able to adapt, start to shut down that Doomfist, and then Bison seemed very hesitant to switch off of it. And then on our second point, like you said, the Ball was just not getting really much of anything, other than that one fight where he had the minefield, did some good work with that. But in most neutral fights and every other situation, he just was struggling to do much of anything. And so I would have liked to see him switch over to the Winston. I wonder if this will be a trend we see throughout the series where these no hacks required players are a bit more hesitant to switch off their heroes.
So I think I can maybe put some light on this because I just looked on the sheet. It does look like for no hacks, Rose Dog is their Rhine Wrecking Ball main, while they have Miko is their Monkey main, which means that he probably isn't. They probably aren't as comfortable on that Winston as you would like. However, I have to say that their compositions were very good from an aggressive standpoint, because if they were able to take control of point, as we saw them do on the first map, when they take control of point, they have a lot of space, they have a lot of abilities they can use, they know what they're doing. But the second they're on the back burner, the second they have to re-aggress into a site, that's where their compositions failed. And if I were no hacks, I think they need to be able to, once they realize that they're on the back burner, they need to swap their comps up instead of sticking on a more aggressive comp.
I think that's a fair point there. Yeah, I would like to see them switch it up. And this is going to be a bit of a difficulty, right? On these control maps, when you have these two different, when you kind of have two different main tanks, kind of reminiscent of the Paris Eternal last season, right? Of Overwatch League, where they kind of had their Ryan player, and then they're in Ben Best, where their Ryan Orisa player in Ben Best, and then you had your kind of monkey and ball player and no smite. The Shock are kind of the only team I've ever seen do it successfully. And on these control maps, it can be really detrimental in some aspects, because on most control maps, especially Lijiang, you have a couple of points which are good for Reinhardt, and then you, specifically on Lijiang, you have those 2 points which you can play the Reinhardt and get decent value out of it. But then you have Gardens, which if you don't have a monkey, it's gonna be a tough time, because you can shut down the ball on that point. It's not a kind of free pick on the ball. You should run the monkey over it in most situations, and so the fact that they are not able to balance those different tanks could cause some problems in the future.
Right. So map 2 is now going to be King's Row. Not really shocked. Everyone loves King's Row. There are very few teams who pick against King's Row. The big thing I think we're going to see here is this is not a map like Lijiang where you have to keep swapping up compositions every single point. And we know that Rose Dog, likes that Reinhardt, and Reinhardt is pretty good on King's Row. I think Orisa has some really good play here too, but Ryan is good on King's Row. I think that plays to their strengths, and that means that maybe we'll be able to see no hacks have a bit better chance on this map than on Lijiang, because they don't have to swap up that composition. That being said, if they refuse to swap up a composition again when they really need to, that could also be a detriment to them.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to end up not running the Reinhardt here. I have a bad feeling about this. But yeah, we will be hopping in now. On the defense, we're going to see our, I guess, not necessarily the meta, but kind of the meta brawl that you see.
It's very standard.
Yeah, it's the standard King's Row comp.
The only thing you really ever see swapped out here is maybe Kree for some other hit scan, but the rest of this pretty much stays consistent. I can't think of anything else to change. On no hacks, we're currently seeing a double main tank. I'm not sure how likely... Okay, yeah, Jeppy was just, I think, staying up there. But they are sticking on this Reinhardt, which I'm not surprised about. Other than the D.Va, though, everything is the same.
Yeah, they started on the Ana looking for kind of an anti-nade. D.Va, very good in the current meta, so not too surprising to see it over the Zarya. Looks like they want to approach over this kind of left-hand side, however.
I think... Oh, that's a really big wall. And
that's a great wall. Yeah, they tried to speed boost onto it, but the wall gets broken down, so it allows them to drop onto them and kind of find this little corner here, and it's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of the attacking side. I mean, but they're sticking around in situations where they're not necessarily favored, but due to the fact that SuperNova lost their Reinhardt, they're just susceptible to this aggression coming through. The 2 tanks and the 2 supports are all you really need to be able to roll over a Ryan-less brawl comp. So now the Ant Matrix thrown down, a minute to build it up. and it's putting a lot of pressure onto this back line, and Robe caught out of position. That's looking like no hacks required on their map pick, looking good to pick up a first point.
The big problem there was just that the fact that the Ryan died early. I mean, Ryan is essential to a defensive comp, and even though he managed to get back
Committing
early,
the grab?
I disagree with that grab commit entirely. There's
the sound barrier?
Beat?
And the shatter?
I guess that's a better trade. I thought it was going to be a terrible trade for SuperNova, but NoHacks just randomly decided to throw in 2 ults that they absolutely did not need. And that gives SuperNova a chance here to take it back, because now they're going to have their own shatter, and they're 60% to their beat. And Punk and McCree is dead. This gives them a huge opportunity that they wouldn't have had before.
Yeah, it's a great opening pick there onto Pong, so it allows SuperNova to try to... look how much space they bought him. They lost that McCree, and so they're able to just push up into this choke way. Maywell thrown down, but it's not too good of a placement. So they are able to come to Firelion's defense there. D.Va caught out of position. The good Maywell actually gets broken by the cart there. Blizzard's going to be thrown on top as soon as the D.Va was frozen up, so no defense matrix is there to eat in. Phoenix traded out for Rose Dog, so 1 tank falls for each side, and a DPS and then a glorified DPS gets taken down. Soundbear now thrown in for Lermons to keep the remaining players of SuperNova alive, and look where Fire Zillion is. Yeah, he does throw down a solo shatter there, but he might need it to do it to stay alive there. He ends up not getting frozen, and a 1v1 for Maximus on Tenano. Very nicely done there. No hacks required, are coming back through with the aggression, as they will manage to continue to get this cart back on track.
That was a very sloppy fight from both sides. I think the big thing there that allowed No Hacks to win was just a couple 1v1 misplays from SuperNova, because from an ultimate standpoint, SuperNova had the much better ultimates. Their Blizzard was very, very good. It caught, I think, 4 members or something, but they weren't really able to capitalize much on it, and then some 1v1s didn't go in their favor, and that's what caused them to lose, really.
Yeah, so we're going to see the D.Va Bomb thrown in. Now after a quick trade out there, the Reinhardt going down, I would say, is... I mean, you lose your Baptiste, that's basically all of your healing, so it is a fairly even trade there. Nano is now switched over onto the Reapers. KO did a lot of work in this small, tight location, so he's able to get out to the rest of his team as well. Kart's going to continue to move forward here, starting to reach this corner here, which can be very hard to push around. Oh, Maywell's just a bit too deep, so it doesn't cut anybody off. Graviton Surge, throwing
massive grab though.
D.Va. It's very good. The shatter comes through though from Rose Dog. It does connect up with a couple of players, but the sound barrier, which was thrown in just before, is enough to keep everybody alive. But as soon as I say that, we see the amp matrix thrown down. Fire lines are taken out, and now SuperNova are looking, I was gonna say looking good here, but they're starting to lose players once again.
Blizzard committed though there when I don't know if it was really the smartest idea. Yes, Ryan goes down, but it's just 2 players against, I think, 4. Now it's a 1v4. I don't really think that Blizzard was the best idea there.
Yeah, the Blizzard not really the greatest of commitments there. A bit of hubris possibly on Roe, but he will switch over onto the McCree now. So we're going to see a McCree Reaper from SuperNova.
Big thing I think SuperNova needs to realize here is D.Va is very, very weak to a Zarya. You'd think, oh, D.Va can eat stuff, except D.Va can't eat Zarya's beam, and Zarya's beam can do a lot of damage. They need to play more aggressive here instead of letting them take feet.
A zoning Blizzard?
What was that? Blizzard? Oh.
I'm not too sure. It's not the greatest of positionings there, and it's just going to be them getting rolled over there. I'm not too sure. Bit of a poorly placed Blizzard there by Bison as SuperNova will get a hold there. 240 left.
1 DPS ult for another, except one ult is way more impactful than the other. As in, like, how it could be impactful. Nano's shouldn't be nearly as impactful as a Blizzard, however, it did far more. That being said, Nano was trying to do a sneaky... I'm not really sure what they're trying to accomplish.
Oh my! Firelison drops 5. The 5-man shatter there. There's 2 players traded out, but it will not matter in the end. Very nicely done there by SuperNova. Maybe you want to back away from the spawn there.
Yeah, Just a little bit. But no, that was very smart. Even though Fire went down, they were able to very easily capitalize on that. That being said, No Hacks almost has 6 ults. This is going to be a very... If they use all 6 of them, SuperNova could very easily hold them. But if they're able to cycle these well, it's a different story.
Ooh, Grav eaten. Really nicely done there. The Grav take it out of the fight there, and then they follow up with a kill there onto Nano, who's 85 to his Death Blossom, as this is looking very nicely for No Hacks required, but Rostock does fall down. Okay, you trade out the Ryan Heart. That's worthwhile, so now they will start to move on forward here. No Hacks required. Gonna continue moving this card.
Oh, but they used 4 ults for that one fight, while SuperNova used 2, sorry. They did use the Grav, but that's not really a very even trade if you ask me. I think No Hacks might want a couple of those ults back.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say another questionable Blizzard, but it was just kind of a fade away there from Bison. It does catch up 2 players before he gets traded down there. Death Blossom to the back of Nano! Oh my word, Nano fights 3! He's looking to clutch this up for his team, and he will be able to do so there. On the 4v6, he comes up big.
Nano just completely pops off there. Alright, so it's looking... Now they don't have... No Hacks has no ults, and it's the last 30 seconds. Their only chance is a massive Baptiste ult. But going to Shatter and almost Grav, honestly. Phoenix can probably build that Grav up really fast. I don't honestly think the 2 ults No Hacks have are going to be enough. Especially when Diva... Especially when Bap and Lucio go down.
I mean, yeah, Tank Line just taken down, and now only 10 seconds left. I mean... That's just a team wipe there as Jeppy sends himself off the side to try to get a faster, quick respawn. But now you can see SuperNova trying to head towards the spawn. They want to make sure nobody can touch and nobody will be able to. That's going to be a decent attack from No Hacks required, but SuperNova do hold up around midway through the 3rd point.
A general rule on King's Row is usually if you can get through the first choke point, if you can get the first point and then through the first choke of Kings, you're pretty much guaranteed to get 2nd point. So it's not super surprising to see them get where the cart is positioned. The thing is, that's not as far as you might want it to go on Kings. Like, usually if you're going to push it far into Kings, you want it to be right before the very end objective so you can get a last-minute fight. Now that it's at that weird corner, they're going to have to hold farther up than they really probably want to hold, which gives SuperNova a very big chance at being able to take it if they use their ultimates a bit more effectively than No Hacks did. No Hacks currently is missing a player. It looks like one of the DPS is...
Yeah, looks like we did have a disconnect there, and I believe it was Bison, so we will hopefully get him back in. If he ends up being disconnected, it's going to be quite disappointing there, but I like what I'm seeing from SuperNova so far. They looked a bit shaky on those first point, but they did really manage to recuperate there. And something I've been noticing from No Hacks required, on the other hand, is they've had some not great ultimate usage at points.
They're a bit shaky with their ultimate usage. The main thing I'm going to be looking at here is how well, as we are about to head back into the game, how well are they able to actually play defensively? Because we saw on Lijiang that their offensive was solid. It was about as good as like what we saw here. Their defense, though, or their ability to like re-aggress, not as much. And because of that, I worry about No Hacks' ability to really be able to hold this against SuperNova. We're seeing Robe right now on Hanzo. I have a feeling they're probably just sticking on that for the Sonic off the beginning. Although if they are running Hanzo, I would suspect it's probably just for the Grav Dragon.
Yeah, we will have to see. I'm not too sure about the Reaper pick. We have seen some Hanzo Mega played, but I mean the Reaper I don't think is too great of a pick here, but Bison is going to fall down, so the man on the opposition is down. Oh, that's a huge kill under Rosedog, though. Main tank taken down opens up a whole world of possibilities, and Nano...
I think Nano heard you complain about his...
I mean, yeah, he was popping off at points on their defense, and now he's coming up big at the start of their attack.
The big thing, the reason why I kind of disagree with their standpoint on Reaper is... Very rarely is Reaper better than McCree, but when he is much better, purely because just the amount of damage he can dish out in these tight corridors is insane. And you're not going to be, like, sometimes Reaper is bad because you're going to be charging up, like, a Zarya or something who can do insane amounts of damage. You're not seeing that here with the D.Va.
Yeah, and but he's not really going to get a chance to do anything in this fight as Fire Zillion gets taken down at the very start. That's going to be a reset.
It was a very quick Baptiste ultimate. Just pops out. I think a Fire Strike and then a couple other projectiles went through, and that really just sealed the deal for them.
Yeah, now a re-engagement coming in, though, as they have to respawn. Ooh, a 5-man grab. It's absolutely massive. Dragon Strike thrown in soon after. Oh, Rogue finds 4.
That's a 4K.
The 4K
well, I think
comes...
we found our play of the game.
Yeah, 4K comes throwing the grab. Dragon, very nicely done there by SuperNova.
The one thing I will say that is giving No Hacks a bit of an advantage here is Dauntless T, they're not actually building their ultimate all that fast for a Baptiste. Bap usually builds ult really fast, and Maximus is about to lap them.
Yeah, that would,
so that's a bit concerning.
Yeah, a bit concerning is a fair statement.
Nano's looking for a very, very sneaky ult. I think, it looks like the Ryan has spotted him, and he is just waving hello and being... he was distracting him.
That's so nice, and then the shatter! Oh my... That was so nice. I don't know if that was the plan to, like, bait Rose Dog into kind of forgetting the rest of the team existed. But
it worked, though.
It did work. Now 5 minutes for them to move the cart 58 meters.
I mean, that's a hell of a time bank. No Hacks does have 5 ultimates up. I just hope that they don't use all 5 at once, because we've seen their ultimate usage be a bit shaky. And if they have to use all 5, there's no chance they're winning this. They have to be able to get in a cycle of ultimates and abilities.
Ooh. I mean, Nano's on another point. No! That's the support line. That's it.
That's awful for them.
There's no way they could win this fight there. They lost their support line at the very start. The only thing they could do is possibly with that D.Va bomb, but it will not matter. SuperNova are going up 2-0 in a series in what was a very dominant attack.
It was actually funny. I thought Nano was going to die, but I think he was just far enough away and the beat was still up enough that he lived through the bomb, which I was a bit surprised to see. I'm actually surprised it isn't the Grav. Oh, well, I guess this is a 4K too. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so very nicely done, though, by SuperNova in a very, I mean, I'm going to say a very dominant fashion. Do end up taking our second map and now move on to match point, where No Hacks required will need to win 3 maps in a row if they want any chance at this.
Defense is always... The defense was decently competitive, and I think that's sort of what we saw on No Hacks. Or, sorry, their taking ability was pretty decent, and that's kind of what we saw from No Hacks. But the second they were on the defense and they had to, like, re-aggress and push back into a team that had control, it didn't really look all that good for them. And unless they can fix that, and maybe that's a lineup change, maybe that's a mentality change, who knows what that is, but unless they can fix that, I seriously do not see them being able to pull this back.
Yeah, it would be a tough call. We'll have to see what No Hacks are able to do, though. Like I mentioned, we would have to win 3 maps here. SuperNova on match point, and we will be right back with our third map of the... Welcome back, everybody, to GGNA Season 7. I'm Joe Razor, joined here by my co-commentator, Hedwig, and we are getting ready to hop into our third map after that quick break of this matchup between SuperNova and No Hacks Required.
Yes, and that map, speaking of, will be Gibraltar, which is a bit interesting if I'm being honest, considering No Hacks has not shown nearly as much confidence on a more dive style comp. I will be interested to see, because we can't really see if they've swapped in anyone. I would be interested to see if they've swapped in Miko, who seems to be their monkey specialist, because if you're trying to run... Okay, so Miko is in. That's exactly what I expected, which is A, it's a comp swap up, and B, it's a leadership setup for those of you who aren't as into competitive Overwatch. The main tank is usually the main like shot caller, they're the strategist, they're the leader, and swapping that can be both a detriment or a really big support, because if Rose Dog was the biggest caller and making all the plays and was the only reason they were having a chance, then it's really bad that they were just swapped out. But if Miko is better, more control, but if Rose Dog wasn't doing as good, maybe a bit tilted, having Miko in could be a new fresh start, a new mentality, and that could give them a chance in this, especially when Miko is a monkey specialist.
Yeah, they also listed on their team card that Gibraltar is their favorite map, so maybe they got a shot at this, or their favorite escort map is specifically. So maybe they got a shot at this. I'll be interested to see what Mika's able to do here on most likely the monkey. I think basically for what the past 4-5 years, it's basically you've seen monkey on Gibraltar no matter what, and if you weren't running monkey, you probably were gonna lose.
Unless you were wearing, unless the only time I've seen exceptions is like weird May Rhine brawl strats where like you bridge across to the high ground and then just rush into them. That's the only time I've ever seen. And final point, you can sometimes get away with other points. But you are correct. We are most likely going to be seeing a monkey from, if not both teams, at the very least defense is probably going to be running a monkey. Or maybe an Orisa comp, although I haven't seen an Orisa. Oh, I guess they're running an Orisa comp. I haven't seen an Orisa comp in years. At least not a one that worked very well.
Yeah, so we will be seeing the Orisa.
Oh, that's on offense. That's...
Oh, so we don't actually know. The defensive comp is kind of more standard. Interesting that we're going to see the Ashe.
Ashe Mercy is still a very deadly combo. It lost a lot of its firepower when they nerfed Ashe's dynamite damage and I think headshot damage. Interesting, we're seeing a full-on like bunker style from No Hacks. I'll be curious to see how well this will work out for them, as this is not standard whatsoever for this map.
Yeah, they will switch over.
Never mind. Okay.
I was gonna say it's something that we see a couple times where teams just try to go for kind of a halt hook pick. Widowmaker on Bison. In the Overwatch League level, well, of course, these teams aren't quite as good as them. You do see a lot of Widowmaker on this map, and that will be what we're seeing. But Rogue takes down Pong before getting bested by the aforementioned Widowmaker before getting rezzed up. Now, clashing on the point is these tank lines of SuperNova are trying to kind of ping-pong the cart, try to stay contested for as long as possible. And this Widowmaker from Bison is buying so much space for his team, and so now they are able to dive onto this secluded high ground here. And in the back, in an attempt to peel for Bison in the support lines, Pong does manage to take down Firelies, and so really nice opening pick there for no hacks required.
If I were SuperNova, I would want Robe to stay as safe as possible. I do not want Robe ever in a situation where they have to peek the Widow, because the problem is the second they peek the Widow, the tanks are going to jump on, and that Echo is going to jump on, and that's not favorable for them. As such, you have to keep Robe safe.
Yeah,
Nanomonkey.
It won't matter. Oh, very nice sleep there onto Robe. It won't really matter if your team gets wrecked by the, like you said, Nanomonkey and Bison, as this is just going to be a reset there as Miko picks up a clean double kill on the tanks.
I'm really liking this look from NoHack so far. First of all, they didn't actually waste any ults.
Oh, they got split spawn.
Yeah, that's going to be really bad for them, especially a BAP split spawn. BAP is instrumental, although you see Robe just getting a random pick off on...
He's going to killed so late.
The problem is, yes, that pickup is fine for SuperNova, but it doesn't really matter because their spawn is really close and Robe now has to wait a while. You are going to see the ult. Once Nano pops Pulse Bomb, I want Nano to swap off because
he got cancelled! His Pulse got cancelled!
Okay, good. Nano is going back to spawn to look like it swaps. That's really good because Tracer is not going to have nearly as much of effect as you want here.
Yeah, but now they're on this weird double hit scan comp, which can get exploited fairly easily by the hard dive that we're seeing from No Hacks Required. As they're, I mean, everybody's so split up, I'm not really sure what Miko's trying to do there. He ends up getting taken down, and that may cost him his rope's gonna pick up a double kill here. As this, I mean, this fight's all over the place, but it looks like the whole rule managed to come in.
You know, it feels a bit like SuperNova and No Hacks have swapped places with how they use their ultimates, because SuperNova just wasted a random Baptiste ult for no good reason. Bob I can kind of understand just because you want to make sure there's pressure on point, but the Bap didn't really get much value. That being said, it charges fast, so I guess it's not the end of the world. You will see 4 ults, actually, almost 5 on No Hacks, only 1 on SuperNova's, and it's an ult that doesn't really do all that much. At least, it doesn't do all that much damage. It can cause a lot of disruption, but when you're dealing with a Widow Ashe who need precision shots, disruption isn't necessarily what you want in that scenario.
Yeah, we will have to see. Nano boost now applied onto Miko. Ooh, great sleep dart there onto Firelizen. Not able to get the value he wants, but Miko taken down. 1-for-1 trade as Robe has fallen. Can Pong get this kill? Oh, no, he cannot. The peel comes in for Phoenix, and so Nano's able to stay alive there. Now he's looking to win the Widow 1v1, and he does so. Oh, very nicely done there, as this is looking very nice as SuperNova are in great position.
Second headshot.
Get him out of here. Nearly take Nano down, but Nano stays alive and then puts in the work his team needs.
Yeah, definitely. Nano did an excellent job there, not just shutting down the Widow, but also killing that Brigand there. And now they have a much better advantage because No Hacks, they used the copy without getting anything out of it. SuperNova didn't have to use anything to counter it. That being said, both Widow sites were up for a brief second. Now it's just Bison's up. That does give No Hacks the positional advantage.
Yeah, but it will be fading very soon, and it sure does. Miko tries to contest on top of this hangar for a second. He's forced on out. Ant Matrix thrown down onto the cart, so it's going to force No Hacks Required to kind of poke around it. Great kill there into a Ender who's caught out of position, but there is a trade that comes through. Now they're going to start maneuvering forward. Rally comes out for the defensive side as they try to stay alive. Nanobu's got thrown in onto Miko, who's in the backline. It's the Primal Rage as well, but he feels like
definitely going to have to pop it if he wants to live.
Pop it at 200 health. Nano actually takes down Pong with the headshot. Nano fights too. Yes, line. Nano's popping off on this Widowmaker as he was coming up with many clutch plays there on last map on the Reaper, but now it's the Widow where he's shining.
Nano is definitely a star. In the Diva stagger, they killed Nano. It's not really going to matter that much. But I also have to give a ton of praise to Phoenix. Phoenix is doing an incredible job of protecting not just Nano, because you saw up there when the sights were up in favor of No Hacks, Nano was just constantly beaming down on Nano to protect him, but also the entire team protecting from any dives. And that's exactly what you need a Diva to do.
As we are getting ready underway here in this next fight, interesting position as they're trying to stay away from Nano, who's been eating them alive. Very good on this Widowmaker. He pops the sights there, and ooh, he catches the leg of Miko, and now that's just going to be the fight one there. As with flashbang, and then the headshot.
And there's only 15 seconds left. There's not much they can really do as they're now getting pushed into a corner. They have to make a miracle here to happen when they don't have any DPS. They nano a Brig. I mean, that's not a bad option considering it is a Brig, but...
Yeah, I mean, this is looking all but over. Rallies comes out from Ender to allow him to stay alive for a bit longer. I'm not sure what SuperNova really doing there. Most of the team was kind of just not shooting at anything. But
I think they thought the round ended or just didn't care enough.
I mean, Firelizen was just kind of standing there for a while. Oh, they will manage to get the cleanup in the end. Another tag does come through as Maximus on this Moira, but nobody is around, and that's going to be the hold. This is a place we see a lot of holds. You do see, if you can basically win one fight as the defense in second point, it's very hard for the attack to break in.
Oh, absolutely. Second point is probably one of the most... As long as you can take a fight, it's one of the most defender favored, because just look at, if we were able to see the angles, we can't really see it right now. If you like zoom out on this map, it's an enormous space that the defenders have to take control of. Thank you for zooming out, whoever is controlling our cameras. It's an enormous amount of space that the attackers have to move through. They have 4 tiny doors that they can go through. Widow can cover 2 very easily, and whoever else can cover the other 2 very easily. And then even if you get through those doors, you have an enormous, basically entirely open area with just one giant thing in the center to get through. And that's not an easy feat for anyone, much less a comp that's dealing with a really good Widow, a really good D.Va, a Monkey that's doing an excellent job of diving and splitting people off, and I'm completely blanking what Robe was playing. I think Kree. A Kree who's just constantly stunning. Just constantly stunning and flashbanging. It's so hard to get through that. Their only chance really was to just pop a ton of ults, and we saw how that worked for them.
Yeah, right before we get into this, you think back, there was one fight where no hacks required really overextended when SuperNova were on this double hit scan with the Hash and the Widow, and that, if they had won that fight, they would probably have pushed far farther, as we're going to see a Bastion double shield. SimTP comes through as they just push no hacks required off of the position. Very nicely done, though, from no hacks required to kite out Robe. Oh, but it will not matter, as they do get a nice collapse there onto the remaining players. And so I thought they were kind of trolling when they were in spawn, so I didn't really mention it, but SuperNova rolling down this Bastion, get a nice first fight.
If I were no hacks in that situation, the second I saw that Bastion, you just need to drop. Like, I understand you don't ever, it's sort of like a rule, an unspoken rule of Overwatch, never give up high ground. If you're against a Bastion who's damage boosted, you need to give up high ground, otherwise you will die. Because now look at this, Bastion has all of this control because that control was given to him because of the fact you died. If you hadn't died and you took this high ground instead, you'd have such a much easier chance of actually being able to do anything. That being said, Baptista's kind of on his own.
Yeah, Bison gets collapsed on, however, as he's able to peel back into Maximus. They left cart for a second, SuperNova did, but now they use the SimTP to get back over there, as the Dynamite gets thrown in, so it's going to put a lot of pressure onto this tank line, and they soon fall. Big opening picks there, take down 2 players. Ooh. There is an Amp Matrix thrown in, but they will not have the players remaining to manage to make this fight winnable. I imagine we see a full sale comp swap now.
I would... Actually, the only thing... Yeah, they're probably going to full sale comp swap. There's no way they'd pop that without swapping. The thing about that is, I don't exactly understand... I guess it's because of the tank ult, although I really don't think it's that important to keep. The main problem I see there with how SuperNova handled that is just the Amp Matrix. Yes, they swap, but Amp Matrix is so useful, and you use it in a 4v6. Like, it's strong. It's not that strong, usually. That being said, we are going to be seeing them take this high ground. Nano swaps over to that Reaper to deal a lot more damage.
Yeah, good not anti-Nick. Dynamite throw him. Pulse Bomb committed into the back. He does manage to stay alive, but now we're going to see a Nano boost applied on the Pong. The Nano Tracer is quite a scary threat. Takes down Nano very early on, and we're going to see Fire Lysed caught out, and he's taken down. They're only a minute 20 left. Why are they running Bastion double shield still?
They have... they're doing it because they have 4 ults, and they don't want to waste that, and they don't want to just throw them away. Just throw them away at this point, or, well... This is, if they're going to keep these ults, this is exactly what I want them to do. Just chuck all of them at once, see what they can do with it. If they get something like they're actually doing pretty well right now, that's awesome. You used your ults effectively. If they don't, great. You can swap off now without having to waste about, quote-unquote, wasting your ults. That being said, they used their ults effectively, and now they're back on cart, and now they don't really need to swap because they have cart control again. That being said, Bastion is doing strange things in the back corner, and there is a D.Va bomb on top of him.
Yeah, he's able to just kind of skirt around the corner to stay alive as the recontest is not being very successful. As they had around 3-4 players alive, but nobody's able to get onto the cart here. So now we have 2 minutes and 50 for no hacks required to move the cart through second.
That's actually a surprisingly low amount of time, given how dominant they seem to be. That being said, though, they are they do have cart control with the Bastion. They're now going to be playing this high ground. It's, oh, Miko. That was depressing.
Miko just gets blown up there, and then you have follow-up on the Pong. Nano Boost applied onto Fire Elizen. Buys a lot of space here. One more recontest.
If even that, I honestly don't know if they're going to be able to.
Yeah, well, we will have to see. Nice kill there onto Robe, though, so this makes this a bit more of a reality. The push from Pong! Oh my, picks up a double kill. I mean, Phoenix is trying to turn this here all by himself. It does force out a nano boost onto Pong, so they will not have that for the future. But what a play from Pong to keep his team in this.
That was amazing from Pong. And now we see that full scale team swap. This is a good time to do it. 145, that's a perfectly reasonable amount of time to build up your ultimates and get good fights in. If they had a swap just like a fight later, it wouldn't have looked as good as this. Decent anti-nade, although I'd argue that Dauntless's is better.
Yeah, I mean, at the end, neither of them end up creating too much value there. Nano's taken down very early on, though. Primal Rage in the backline's going to cause a problem. Sleep Dart!
Oh, big sleep!
Oh, what
nice
a sleep dart from Dauntless Teal. I mean, he gets woken up towards the end of his primal. Yeah, it does not really matter to the fact that it was towards the end of the Primal Rage. There is SuperNova did manage to pick up a kill there. Respawn has come through though as Bison switches over.
They might be able to full sail win this, especially with the Dragon, and they're gonna have the McCree ultimate, and Monkey is anti-'d.
Yeah, Monkey is anti there, does fade somewhat soon as Rowe picks up a double. Oh my, his two headshots off the Fonzo. Not really any players alive for no hacks required. High noon from Nano to try to close this out. Takes out the recently resurrected Bison. The Diva Bomb, kind of their last hope here, only finds one. There are some players starting to respawn for the side of no hacks required. They do manage to take down Fire Elizen. The respawns are here. They have 4 players alive. It's a 4-on-4 onto the point. Enemy is applied onto the Brigitte, but another headshot from Robe comes through. The Doomfist for Bison needs to come up big. It's his favorite hero. It's most played. It's a specialty, and he finds the supports, and they're going to be able to hold this. It's just the Diva on the point, or no hacks required. Really going to win this map. Only 8 seconds left.
It's insane that Doomfist manages to get 2 kills. It's just Tanks on point right now, and Tanks can't really do much against a Doomfist.
Yeah, it's Nano needs to come up big. He's clutched up before on this Widowmaker. Try to pull a Carpe-esque play, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Bison's the one who's coming up clutch on this map. Switches over to the Doomfist in the final hour. And this looks like it's going to be no hacks required. And somehow, in a map where they looked destined to lose in many situations, are going to stay alive.
I'm not honestly sure how that happened other than just Bison popping off in the very last moments. And honestly, a bit of a throw from SuperNova because there was no one in cart with 0.11 meters left. This was a really nice stick. But 0.11 meters left, and Brig walked away from cart.
Yeah, I mean, what a crazy map there. No hacks required are going to manage to come away with it, however. As that was insane.
That's exactly though what I wanted from no hacks. They swapped up their composition and they swapped up their leadership, and that allowed them to have a much closer game and win a map, which is exactly what they needed because now momentum is on their side. The only thing is SuperNova now gets to pick this 4th map. It's gonna be an assault map. SuperNova favors Hanamura. You can't really run dive that well on Hanamura. You can. It's just not super recommended. So if I'm no hacks, they need to get either a bunker strat down or just pray that their Rhine strat is good enough.
Yeah, we'll have to see what map selection they go with. We have seen Double Bubble do decently well on this map. At the Overwatch League level, at least. I mean, you could think back to a very specific example was the Florida Mayhem playing against the Atlanta Reign. I mean, that double bubble comp just basically dominated on their defensive side. And so it's not impossible to run it.
It's not impossible. The
first point is just so hard to hold or even attack on. Second point, though, Dive is pretty good on it.
Yeah, the thing with the first point. The thing with just Hanamura in general, Assault in general, kind of, is... Oh my goodness, I just completely lost my statement. Oh, Double Bubble. Sorry. Double Bubble is a much more complicated comp than people give it credit for. Like, people see in Overwatch League players pulling out Double Bubble and doing very well on it. The problem is Double Bubble requires a lot more coordination because everything in Double Bubble relies on the cycling of those two abilities, and you have to get those cycles down to millisecond timing, otherwise you're dead, because there's so much damage that could be coming in from you. Just think about if there's an Orisa Bastion Tor bunker or something. Map 4 is Hanamura, no shock there, both teams' favorite. But if there's some Orisa Bastion or some high damage bunker, Reaper bunker, May bunker, whatever it is, if those bubbles aren't millisecond perfect, everything is just going to melt because you're going to die. Your bubbles are going to be gone. Your utility is going to be gone. You're going to have to use your utility to get out rather than engage. It's going to be a mess for you. You have to get the timing down.
Yeah, double. I mean, even when you... And then you can also think about the ultimates, right? You have to be very good with making sure you can cycle specifically your Nano Boost and your Primal Rage to keep this Winston alive for as long as possible. Double Bubble can honestly struggle when they don't have either of those two ultimates online. Because like you mentioned, that Winston can just get blown up super quickly. And so what you want to try to do with this comp is you want to try to basically just poke for long enough to build up a Nano Boost so that you could use that Nano Boost to build up Primal Rage.
We saw it on Gibraltar. We saw Monkey dove into the back line. He almost died with Nano on him. So then he had to pop his Primal, and then he almost died again. Like, that just goes to show you how much damage a Monkey can take. And if you don't have those timings down pat, you're gonna die. And exactly as you said, not just having the cycling down on the Monkey and Nano, but also how well you utilize Monkey ult, because Monkey ult is a very tricky ult to actually use well, I'd say.
Yeah, Monkey ult is very, very challenging to get to be kind of insane at. I mean, some people call it the Primal Blade in some situations. I think
sometimes you can get a 4K with it. Sometimes you get a 4K, sometimes you get nothing.
I think the Primal Blade came from China. I think it was it translates into... I don't remember the Chinese pronunciation, but it was something they would say about Gushui. It's a fun fact of the day.
That doesn't shock me.
But I believe it or not, these Winstons are not quite at Gushui's level, but yeah, we
unfortunately
are,
not.
Unfortunately not. A Masters Winston being as good as Gushui would be quite terrifying. Yeah, I think everybody's... there's two types of people in this world. You either aspire to be Gushui or you aspire to be Gesture. There's very little in between there.
Very understandable. Or some people aspire to be Fisher. As we head into Hanamura, it doesn't
I don't think that's a good thing.
Okay, Fisher's skill, not necessarily his mentality.
Oh, I was more mentioning Gesture's mentality, or kind of his playstyle as well. Kind of the swag playstyle. Played with his Bugatti, playing with his Bugatti in the parking lot.
Here's the interesting thing. We actually see that Miko is staying in and is going on Monkey. Monkey defense it's something I have actually personally played this comp on defense to great success, but it's very hard to pull off, because basically what has to happen is the Monkey has to sit on the little ledge to the right of point, the one the camera is currently sitting above, and the Sigma has to sit on point, and the rest of the team has to split themselves around, and you have to basically have perfect dives, perfect collapses, and if you don't, you're just dead, because no one has enough sustain amongst each other, especially into just a pure rush damage comp.
Yeah, we have to see what they're able to do here, as they're running... Interesting that they're not running the Mei here. That's normally you see the Mei instead of either the Hanzo or the McCree.
They're
gonna
also
wrap around
running
to the
a
side.
Zen. They're also running a Zen, which means they're not utilizing any sort of speed, which NoHax could use to their advantage, because that means they are inherently faster because most of the characters have some sort of speed ability.
Yeah, this SuperNova comp is quite strange. Good anti-nade. Connects onto 3, but Miko's the one to fall. I mean, Robe is still sitting at this choke. He's going to look for an off angle, but his team's does not need him. He's going to end up going down. This was basically a 5v6, and SuperNova still rolled it.
I mean, that's just because of one simple fact. NoHax gave them point. Simple as that. NoHax didn't contest point once until they were already on it. And that's not what you want to do with this comp. This comp has to aggress before they get to that point. You have to get them in choke points. And they went through a couple. They just never hit them on those chokes.
Yeah, so now they're going to try to move up to, on this kind of right side high ground. Your standard rotation
dies
there. But like you said, Bison goes down very early on. That's basically, essentially, most of your damage there for this defensive side. Now there's going to be a high noon for Nano. Look how much space, and look where NoHax required to be forced to. They're trying to stay alive for as long as possible. Nano boost applied onto Miko. He needs to try to build up this power rate to stay alive, but he just got blown up, not able to stay alive for any period of time. Now the spawn camp is coming through for SuperNova. They could possibly cap with almost 5 minutes.
Oh, they're so close to capping so quickly. Their only hope really is Jeffy and Ender. So the problem is they're stuck in a grab, and a trans is up and full 51.
I mean,
oh, that is not good for NoHax at all.
That is.
I'm curious.
I'm curious as well. I think we're curious about the same thing.
The record for capping Hanamura is 59 seconds. So they were a little less than like a minute or something. They were a little less than like a minute away from the record cap, which is terrifying. It was a blitz, basically. SuperNova got on point, first point. There was a little skirmish. They got into second point. There was a little skirmish, and then it was done. If NoHax... The only way NoHax even has a chance is if they cap it above a minute, hopefully like closer to 3 or something, and then play the most, excuse my language, but cheesy BS defense comp you could ever imagine. That is their only chance right now I see them, unless they have the best offense I have ever seen. Except the problem is, instead of running into a dive comp on first point, which is so much easier to deal with, they're running into another rush comp.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. They're just going to hold very close. Every time I see a team
Fire
run
is on 40% within 8 seconds.
I mean, and that's the fight. Good. GG, go next. I mean, Fire already has a shatter. Like, not even 20 seconds into the game.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't think they actually physically can get a faster time bank than them now, just by how long it takes for them to get to point and then cap and then get back to point.
Yeah,
I don't think they can get a faster time.
Yeah, because it takes around 20 seconds to cap. And so they would have
20 seconds to get there. It takes another 20 seconds. There's no chance. They physically can't.
Yeah, they physically can't. All right, well, Nano's on another flank here, and he
dies, actually.
Yeah, very nice flashbang there from Bison, flashbang fan. The hammer summons Sue style to take him out. Nice headshot there to trade out DPS, however. Bison looking to find a follow-up kill. The Dynamite puts so much pressure on, falls below 80, but the heals are there from Dauntless Teal. Reinhardt's are engaging. Very nice flashbang. Another fan, the hammer comes through, but immortality is there. Oh, the shatter! That 20-second shatter comes through, and it's a fatty shatty, as they call it in the business. That's going to be hold for SuperNova.
I was going to compliment... Bison did a very good job of zoning out the Zarya to sort of like hide around the gate wall to the left side of the point. That being said, didn't really end up mattering at all because Fire just decides that, no, you will not be touching this point. I shall be shattering you. And Nano is on another flank. Let's see if this one ends as poorly as the last one did.
Yeah, we will have to see there. Not Nano Boost. The Hit Matrix thrown down. Decent May wall, but he's just able to kite it fairly easily. Bob gets thrown in. Faces a lot of pressure early on, as they're just forced to kind of kite out. While this pressure now an engagement's going to come through for SuperNova. Oh, good wall, and then the High Noon Immortality just in time to keep Fire alive, however. Now they're going to try to catch Bison off this angle, but he's not able to take him down. Shatter does not find the value they want as the sound barrier commitment is through, however, and they collapse on Fire and Nano, and now SuperNova looking like they're going to finally fall here. No hacks required. Are looking decent to cap up this first point.
But look at everything it took from No Hacks. It took their Shatter, it took their beat, and it took their Noon. Especially like the beat you probably didn't really want to use there if you didn't have to. They did have to though. SuperNova, all they committed there was a Graviton and a Bob, but the Bob is at 70% already, so I don't think you're really necessarily missing
Nano.
that. Oh,
Are they going to see Nano?
I don't.
If they don't see Nano here, I mean, if you could think back to King's Row, I mean, he killed both supports in the situation.
No, Lucio saw it. Okay.
Yeah, Ender does catch him out, so he's forced to pull back into a different angle there. He gets flashbanged. He does not have his...
it doesn't matter, though!
Get out! But like you said, it does not matter. He still essentially killed both those players there. Resurrect comes through to the only player SuperNova has lost, and they will continue to hold on. 3:40 left.
And they are pushing them straight off the map. Ooh, are they going to be able to get the... Oh, they do manage to get the late stagger on 2 members. Almost 3. Are they going to be able to get the Lucio?
Yes, they do.
They get
nice
the
shot.
Lucio. That was a really nice shot. I think Nano would have killed him anyway, but still.
Yeah, and I also think a shot to the toe would have killed him, but nice shot.
He did not have a lot of health. Hey, it was a headshot. We'll give Robe that. But now, look at this time make difference already. It's 2 minutes. No Hacks has a ton of ultimates, but so does SuperNova. This is going to be a very scrappy, messy fight, I'm expecting.
I mean, they just walked into that dynamite.
I mean, Robe didn't need any more ult charge, but you gave it to them anyway.
I just... building up your support ults, I guess. They're gonna get ready to engage here. Shatter is online for Miko. See if he's able to get the value he needs. They're stuck in this Graviton Surge. It is very massive. And the Shatter's committed. Leda finds absolutely nothing. As Phoenix picks up a triple kill here. Reset forced out. And no hacks required. Looking very desperate.
A Grav and a... So we see the Grav used, and already Phoenix is back to 60%, which is insane. Dauntless uses Window, and it was traded out for a Shatter. I'd say that's a win for SuperNova, especially because Phoenix is 60% to next Grav. Honestly, could get Grav within the next fight, and that's a terrifying thought when they're also dealing with 4 other really strong ultimates. No Hacks, honestly... Oh, come on, Nano.
I mean, there is a trade, but I don't know how much it matters. You lose that sound barrier very early on. No hacks required. Do have 5 ultimates, however, for when they do decide to recontest.
You lose a sound barrier, you lose a support, and you lose your only mode of like actually getting Rhine anywhere within a decent amount of time. So basically, there's nothing they can do. That's all Nano really needed to do. It didn't matter if Nano got out there. They're still gonna choose. They're pushing in.
Yeah, they're going to try to push in off this high ground here. Death Blossom, I think for one of the few times this game does not find very much value, but SuperNova are finding
really
the kills
matter.
they need. Yeah, it does not matter. Oh, Nova. A bit of a teabag there.
Here's a big problem I am seeing that I think No Hacks has done twice now. Ender has used their beat aggressively to like entry twice. If you entry beat, that's fine. But not against this comp. The comp that they are playing against, you cannot entry beat because you have to save that beat for when they use a big ultimate. Like, oh, I don't know, a Reaper ult or a Ashe ult. Instead, you get, okay.
Nano! I mean, how many times? Somebody go back and count. How many times has he just gotten the opening pick in every single fight? I mean, no hacks required.
4.
No hacks required at this point. We'll have one more fight, and after they do that, they will only be able to draw.
Yeah, no, And even then, they're running into a Graviton, almost another Matrix, and almost another Bob. I don't see a world in which this is really going well for them, especially because they're not going to be able to take their time with this. They're going to have to rush onto point. Nano jumps off the map. They're not even going to be able to touch. They grab them off.
Oh. I mean, we have the Sig 9. That was a Grav 9 there. Uses it to keep no hacks required from touching. That's going to be SuperNova taking our first set 3-1.
Yeah, that was very well played by SuperNova, and a couple kind of crucial misplays, especially just really not respecting Nova, if I'm being honest, like paying attention to the background. Very nice play of the game by Phoenix, but just they didn't respect Nova or SuperNova, I really feel. Hey, I just noticed that. They didn't Nano, sorry, why did I call them Nova? They didn't respect Nano enough.
I small sidebar. I hate that his name's Nano, because anytime there's an Ana, yeah, and you sometimes will say Nano in the same sentence. It just
you're like, oh, Nano got 3 kills. Did you mean Nano the player, or did you mean Nano the ultimate?
Luckily, I did not have to say Nano gets applied to Nano. That did not happen this game. But
no.
Yeah, really nicely done there by SuperNova. And a quick thing, they did not play the Lucio at all on that final map. Where they played
Zen.
They played Zen, and then they switched to the Mercy for their defense. And so the fact is they managed to have a very nice brawl comp without the Lucio. Something you don't see a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing, I think the reason they're allowed to do that is mainly just because of the fact that they don't need that speed as much because they have faith in their ability to hold sites. So they rather keep like higher damage and more healing. That being said, though, just overall, an awesome game from SuperNova. I want to see No Hacks do better. I think they definitely have the ability to do better. I think they just need to work a bit more on their coordination and also their team compositions in general, like how they run their team comps.
Yeah. So I hope to see No Hacks Required rebound here in any future games that we get to witness. But that will be it for our first match. We have a second one coming up. That's going to be Fish versus Scoob on Diva. You want to stick around for that. But before that can get started, we will be heading to a quick break.